Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for better grades next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Tenya Iida, class rep for the prestigious Class 1A. Obviously it's because of his ingenuity and his quick wit. He's fast. Those are fast jokes.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, faster.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, this is a speedster. We've done speedsters, but they all end up a little bit different, and this one's no exception. Next, we need to rep the class with strategic abilities to help the rest of the team do their best. It's one thing to get an A on your test, it's another thing to get your class average to an A+. Finally, we need that big old ingenium kick with an unarmed attack that doesn't have to use our arms. Really, no unarmed attacks have to use your arms, but this one extra doesn't. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Intelligence will be number 1. You're pretty close to the top of the class, and the class is full to bursting with geniuses. Dexterity next. If quirk is your speed, it's a stat you need. Bars. Constitution after that. You kinda look like a nerd, but you actually tangle with a lot of nasty villains and tough it out. Low HP wouldn't be a good fit. Follow that up with charisma. It might take you a second to come into your own, but you do give a decent motivational speech every now and then. Wisdom is a bit low. You're not imperceptive. We just need other things more, and we'll dump strength. We don't need that for anything. Tenya is a human, but he's a human with a quirk, almost sort of variant. That's not what variant human actually means. It's just supposed to mean an alternate to the standard human, but it kind of works out. Since you work out, grab the mobile feat, letting you add 10 feet to your movement speed. You can ignore difficult terrain while dashing, and you can't be hit with opportunity attacks from creatures you attack with melee attacks. You just have to try and hit them. You don't even have to succeed. You're a very hard kid to catch. Bump your intelligence and your constitution with your 2 free points. Take Arcana for your skill of choice to know all about your quirks, and the noble background for history and persuasion. You're a legacy hero. Your family cosplays as knights. You're basically a modern knight. We'll kick things off as a rogue since that's the fastest way to go fast, and hey, we're here to go fast, right? You get 4 skills from the rogue list like athletics, acrobatics, perception, and investigation. You're pretty physical, but you're also great at solving problems and tracking down serial murderers. You get expertise in 2 skills, letting you double your proficiency bonus to those checks as well. Grab persuasion and athletics to round up your poorer scores and make you a more balanced hero. Seriously, as a speedster, tripping is your biggest weakness. It's #1 enemy in any brawl. You also get sneak attack, letting you add an extra d6 of damage to your attacks when you have advantage or an ally within 5 feet of the target. You have to be using a finesse or a ranged weapon. Not really a you thing. We're here for the 2nd level of rogue. That's because 2nd level rogues get cunning action, letting you dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. Thanks to mobile, you shouldn't need to disengage. Just try to hit someone with a melee attack and enjoy 80 feet of dashing speed away. Bouncing over to Artificer now. You're a crafty guy and can use spells like Long Strider to add 10 more feet to your movement speed. That's 100 feet after a dash, letting you really book it, and not in the traditional student way with books. Jump triples your jump distance for a minute. Considering you can rocket forward, that should help you get enough momentum to clear any gaps. For a little spin kick, grab the Thunderclap cantrip, forcing a Constitution saving throw on creatures within 5 feet of you. Why would a kick be thunder damage? Because you have loud ass engines in your calves. Message lets you whisper to a creature within 120 feet of you, and they can whisper back. This is generally supposed to be low level telepathy, but honestly, you're probably just running over to them, then running back to your space. You also get magical tinkering, letting you put a tiny magical effect into a tiny non-magical item. A static image, a short message, nothing you couldn't do with a cell phone, just some small flavor stuff. Get creative, have fun with it. 2nd level artificers get infusions, magical items to make your costume better. Enhanced defense adds 1 to an armor's AC. Sending stones let you communicate between the 2. Maybe send Deku a text before you try to fight the superhero murderer by yourself. Goggles of Night let you see in the dark with your weak human eyes, and enhanced arcane focus adds 1 to your attack rolls with spells you cast and lets you ignore up to half cover. Since you can only infuse 2 items per day, it doesn't really matter that those last 2 aren't totally in character. The latter ones are gonna fit better, promise. Speaking of things fitting better, 3rd level artificers can choose a specialty, and armorers get to go the fastest and wear the heaviest armor. You can choose an armor model, which could even be heavy armor, and you get to ignore the strength requirements with it. Heck, if you choose the infiltrator set, you can ignore stealth disadvantage and get +5 to your movement speed for base 55 speed. You also get one thing that's out of character, but really good: the lightning launcher, a ranged weapon that deals 1d6 lightning damage and an extra d6 once per round. It actually pairs really well with sneak attack too. I hate that it's not in character, but you know what? Just use it. I'm not gonna tell anyone. You could also go with the guardian armor to get thunder gauntlets. That'll deal 1d8 thunder damage with a melee attack using your intelligence modifier, like the lightning launcher, to get some recipro kick row blast thingies. And you can give yourself temporary HP equal to your artificer level as a bonus action, an amount of times per long rest equal to your proficiency bonus to help keep you in the fight for a longer time. Half of the infiltrator armor works best for you, half of the guardian armor works best for you. Unfortunately, you can only pick one, so you gotta pick one. You also get some free spells as an armor. Thunder Wave forces a constitution saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube in front of you, dealing 2d8 thunder damage and pushing them back 10 feet if they fail, half damage and no pushing if they succeed. That's a big shockwave kick, folks. That's full cowling. 4th level artificers get an ability score improvement. Most of your damage is going to be coming from spells, so let's get our intelligence modifier up to make sure that you're hitting them. 5th level armorers get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action. Now you can shoot 2 out of character lightning blasts per round, or kick twice with more in-character stuff, even if you're running slower. You also get 2nd level spells here. Enhance ability gives a creature advantage on ability checks of a certain type. If you choose strength, their carrying capacity is doubled. If you choose dexterity, they don't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less. And if you choose constitution, they get 2d6 temporary HP. However you want to encourage your classmates, it lasts for an hour depending on your concentration. 6th level artificers get tool expertise, giving you expertise with the tools you're proficient with. You've got to be able to fix things up in the field. The villains probably want to break your gear. You also get some more gear here. Ring of Water Walking lets you walk on water, kind of like unarmored movement improvement from Monk. We're just sort of building a different kind of monk with Artificer. Who would have guessed that the class that rips things apart and puts them back together would be so malleable? Spell Refueling Ring lets you recover a 3rd level spell slot or lower once per day. I bet you can guess what our favorite 3rd level spell is going to be once we get them. Hint, it isn't Glyph of Warding. 7th level artificers get Flash of Genius, letting you give a creature within 30 feet of you your intelligence modifier to add to an ability check or saving throw an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. It's great that you've got so many ways to bolster your companions without focusing hard on charisma. That's some real class repping. 8th level artificers get another ability score improvement. I want more intelligence, so invest in more intelligence. Capping it off will help you encourage your classmates better. 9th level armorers get armor modification, letting you treat your armor as different pieces: a headpiece, boots, chest piece, gauntlets, and a weapon. You can infuse 2 more items as long as they're part of your armor set. UA really does get the best gear. It's no surprise it's such a prestigious school. You also get 3rd level spells here, and it's time to go faster with haste, doubling your movement speed, giving you +2 AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, use an object, or make 1 more attack. For speed, this is 110 base if you're wearing the infiltrator suit, 220 with a dash, 330 with a cunning action double dash, and 440 with the haste action. You could probably get from USJ to the school before the spell runs out. Lasts for a minute depending on your concentration, and I swear to God, if one of you does the math on the location of the school and the USJ and the official distance, I won't be impressed. I'll just pity you. Please don't do that. Anyway, after that's over, you've blown your engines and you need to take a round off of actions and reactions. 10th level artificers are magical item adepts, letting you attune up to 4 magical items at once, and you can grab some really good ones. Gauntlets of Ogre Power will jack your strength up to 19, which it doesn't really make sense if you're kicking, but bear with me. You can try this at home. Try kicking with your hands at your sides, then try kicking with your arms out in front of you. Now imagine you were kicking with the force of a Ford Mustang. Bet you wish your arms were strong enough to balance you out. Ring of Jumping lets you cast the jump spell at will, so you'll always be able to do some sweet rocket hops. Since jumping is tied to strength, pairing this with the Gauntlets of Ogre Power will give you 57 horizontal feet of jumping and 21 feet vertically. Your enhanced defense buff is also +2 now, so you're going to be even harder to hit. 11th level artificers get spell storing item, letting you store a spell of 2nd level or lower into an item. That spell can then be cast from that item by you or another creature using your intelligence modifier an amount of times equal to double your intelligence modifier. I'd use it for long striders, just 5 free long striders for 5 hours of extra speed per day. If you need any more than that, I am very nervous about what's happening in your campaign. 12th level artificers get another ability score improvement. We're sort of done with everything we need, so we'll grab the charger feat, letting you make an attack as a bonus action after you take the dash action and add an extra 5 damage or push the target an extra 5 feet if you shove them for a full-on recipro burst. Well, not really. That's still about 3 levels away. First, we need to go to level 13 of Artificer for 4th level spells. Freedom of movement lets you ignore difficult terrain and nothing can slow you down. No restraint, no paralyzation. Heck, you can even break out of non-magical shackles with 5 feet of movement. However, I might just save this spell slot for an extra haste, especially since at the 14th level of Artificer, you become a magical item savant and can attune up to 5 items at the same time, as well as get 2 more infusions. Ring of Free Action does everything Freedom of Movement does, except the non-magical shackles thing. It feels a little bit silly explaining a spell since it's only useful for 1 level, but it's fine. I don't know what level you are going to hit. I hope you hit this level though, because this is also where you get Boots of Speed, which will double your movement speed for 10 minutes per long rest. Pairing it with haste, you've got 220 feet of base movement speed on the Infiltrator armor, 440 with a dash, 660 with a cunning action double dash, and 880 with the haste dash. Obviously, that's got to be the cap. right? Right. So let's run over to fighter and grab a fighting style like unarmed fighting to deal 1d6 damage with your unarmed attacks, 1d8 while you have 2 free hands. Remember, better balance. You can also deal 1d4 damage to a creature you have grappled once per round. I'll probably call that whiplash because if you grapple someone, you can still drag them 330 feet in a turn. Also, you have expertise on athletics, so your grapple check is super high. You can pretty much drag an enemy 330 feet away as long as they're large or smaller. Imagine your DM's face when you just keep picking up the enemies and running them out of the fight. I love it. You also get second wind, letting you heal 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest. Obviously, if you run fast, you heal fast. Second level fighters get action surge, letting you take a second action in one turn once per short rest. That means 1,100 feet of movement speed in a single round, or 440 feet you can drag an enemy away with. Absolutely hilarious. But that's gonna do it with fighter levels because I'm more concerned with playing the character, but fun idea for the folks at home. Rune Knight yourself to large size, then grab enlarge reduce from the ARTIFICER list, store that in an item, have your friend cast it on you to maintain your concentration so you can concentrate on haste. That'll make it a huge size so you can grapple a gargantuan creature with advantage from enlarge and plus 16 on the roll thanks to expertise in the gauntlets of ogre power. That's 6 more than a contesting Tarask, and since grapple checks are checks, not saves, it can't use its legendary resistances as you push it 11 times its movement speed away, so even if it's dashing and using all of its legendary actions, you bought your party 3 rounds to regroup. But anyway, in-character stuff. The third level of Rogue, you can choose a martial archetype. Scouts get nature and survival skills for free, as well as expertise in those skills. That means you'll be better at tracking down the stain on the villain community that maimed your brother. I think the guy calls himself Skidmark. You're also a skirmisher, letting you move half your movement speed as a reaction when a creature ends their turn within 5 feet of you without provoking opportunity attacks. Half your movement speed is still over triple most people's movement speed, so they're not going to be able to catch up to you even with a dash. I love speedsters. Our capstone's the 4th level of Rogue for one last ability score improvement. When in doubt, tough it out. Take the toughie and you get 40 extra HP. You're just so dang fast, we don't need anything else. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're fast. You're really fast. And you have great ways to use that speed, taking your enemies for a ride to keep them away from your friends, or scooping up your friends to drag them out of harm with a solid grappling score. Finally, you're pretty tough, with 20 AC if you're wearing plate mail, and 185 HP. Not to mention, they'll have to catch you to hit you. For weaknesses, you don't really pump out that much damage. Even with 3 actions per round, you're still only going to deal 3d8 plus 12 damage with your kicks. Try to find a pit to shove people into if you want to deal damage. We also missed out on the capstone of Artificer, which is arguably one of the best in the game. Finally, we didn't grab Constitution proficiency or Warcaster. Probably should have done that. Charger stinks and so does dropping haste. But they need to hit you to make you drop your concentration. You're already miles away. Go fast, inspire your classmates, and hit people with a rocket kick. Just make sure nobody can take away your speed. Otherwise, you're gonna end up a stain on the sidewalk. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.